Welcome to the Highly Effective Man podcast, hosted by former Navy SEAL turned life and fitness coach. I'm your host, JP Bolwan. This podcast is your resource for unlocking the healthiest, most productive, and highly effective man within you. Let's go. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Highly Effective Man podcast. I want to say thank you for listening. Thank you for the messages and the phone calls and just the texts that I've gotten from some of you that have said that you've really appreciated this podcast. It means a lot to me. I sit here in my garage and I think of things that I want to talk about, and I don't know how it's going to land. I don't know how people are what they're going to think about what I've said, and I just know it's what I believe. And it's something that I think is going to help people become better people, right? So like my whole goal, with coaching and everything and this podcast is to help people unlock the most effective version of themselves. And so if I can do that with 1, 2, 3, hundreds of people, then awesome. I'm excited about that. So what I wanted to talk to you guys about today is the power of believing in yourself, right? And I'm going to tell you a story about somebody that I know, and I can't think of a better example of somebody that was going through some hard times and really changed his life by believing in himself and just having that undying belief that he deserved better and that he could do better, right? And so this guy seriously changed the trajectory of his life. Like there was a point in his life where he felt like he was probably going to die at an early age. His dad died at 26 years old, was, not by anything violent or anything like that, but his dad died by having a brain aneurysm. His mother remarried, and unfortunately for him, married a guy that abused him, right? So physically, mentally abused him and his brother. And, that had an effect on him. It's tough when you're living in a house and, you feel like nobody really cares about you. And so what happened with him was that he got into gangs. He started failing at school, was doing drugs, and it got to a point where he messed up really bad and ended up in the juvenile detention center. And that's basically jail for kids. I mean, it's not basically, it is jail for kids. And he was like on a road to either dying early or being in a lifetime of coming in and out of jail. Well, everything started to change for this guy when he was locked up in the juvenile detention center, and a guy came to visit him. And this guy was the Marine junior ROTC guy at the school that he was attending. And the guy said to him, "Look around you," right? It's like a visiting hours or whatever you want to call it. But he said, "Look around you. You deserve better than this." He's like, "You don't belong here." And my friend looked around, saw the people that were in there. There was guys that, were just not on the same level. So he looked around, and in that moment, he decided that guy, the Marine, what he was saying was absolutely correct, and he didn't believe that he belonged there. So once he made a promise to himself that once he got out of the juvenile detention center, that he was going to start setting his life right? That he was going to do more and be better. He started playing sports. Ended up playing JV football and then getting pulled up to varsity. Ended up taking the varsity running back position. And then after high school, decided that he's going to go and become a Navy SEAL. Right? He wanted to go to college and play football, but this kid was 5'4", 140 pounds, and there's not a whole lot of colleges that are ready to recruit a 5'4", 140-pound running back, right? And so he goes to become a Navy SEAL. Does 13 years in the teams, is surrounded by some of the baddest motherfuckers on the planet, guys that will push themselves, guys that have, been through some of the hard things that he's been through. And he just learns to become a man. He learns to push himself like he never had before. And all because, he still believed that he deserved better and that he could do better. While he was still in the Navy, he got involved with CrossFit, traveled around the world teaching Olympic lifting and CrossFit to people all around the world. And he continues to coach this to this day. And he's continued to push himself in athletics. And shortly after getting out of the Navy, he ends up playing international rugby. And he has a chance to play against some of the best rugby players in the world, right? So if you're not familiar with rugby sevens or international rugby, there's a sevens tournament which is now in the Olympics, and it's the same people that play in the Olympics that he got to play against. At that time, it wasn't an Olympic sport, but now it is. And then at the young age of 32, this guy decides he's going to chase that old dream of playing college football. So he goes and plays at the University of San Diego, and then was fortunate enough to be featured on ESPN around Veterans Day. He also met his future wife at the University of San Diego and now has 2 daughters and lives in paradise on Kauai. And I'm sure many of you have probably figured this out, but this friend doesn't exist. This friend is me. After moving to Kauai, I had some short stints in real estate and decided that, you know what, I'm going to become a firefighter. I'm 43 years old. I'm going to become a firefighter. Why? Why not? Because I can. And so now I coach people and I help them unlock whatever's holding them back so that they can be the most effective version of themselves and accomplish whatever they desire. Now, I wanted to share this with you for 2 reasons. One is because I think it's important that if you're listening to this podcast, that you know more about me and where I'm coming from. And for many of you, this might be the first time you've heard some of these other stories in my life. Because, to be honest, some of these stories are not like stories that I'm happy about or I'm proud about, but it's made me who I am. And number 2, which is the most important thing, is that believing in yourself is the single greatest gift you can give yourself. When the outlook doesn't look great and you don't know what the hell you're going to do, just believe in yourself. Believe that you will figure it out one way or another. I don't care who you are or where you come from, but if you're doubting yourself right now, listen closely. You do not belong where you're at. You are completely capable of doing whatever it is that you put your mind to. And I want you to know that I believe in you. So go out there and get it. Thank you. Thank you for listening to the Highly Effective Man podcast. If you enjoyed or learned something on this episode, do me a favor and share this with somebody who you think needs to hear it. And one last thing, if you want to work with me as your coach to help you get fit, be more productive, and in general, just be the most effective version of yourself, head over to my site, higherlevelcoaching.co. Once again, that's higherlevelcoaching.co, and schedule a call with me there. Thank you again. Let's go.